Hello everyone, welcome back to Bangtan News today. Today, we're not going to discuss anything big, viral, or full of highlights. We will discuss something exactly the opposite. Something small. Calm down. And perhaps, most honestly, because often, the most memorable moments don't come from the loudest screams or the most dramatic scenes. The most memorable moments often appear in seconds. Almost unnoticed. Not planned. But it feels so real, when the 7 BTS members finally regrouped and sat together in one room, the atmosphere felt different. Not like on stage. Not in the broadcast studio. But more like, home, they are at RM's house. A room that feels warm. A simple sofa. Laughter that is not made up. A smile that appears without effort. There is no distance between them and the camera. There is no concept to show. Only 7 people were finally able to sit together again. The night was calm. Lightweight. Convenient. Throughout the broadcast, many things happened. They're kidding. They laughed. They interrupted each other in a very familiar style. It all felt like a family that hadn't been together in a long time. However, among all that, there was one small moment that happened very quickly. Just a few seconds. It's easy to miss, but it is precisely that moment that is remembered by many for the longest time. Something changed every time Jungkook looked at Jimin. The changes are not major. Not theatrical. But it feels so good to be noticed. Jungkook's gaze became softer. His smile appeared involuntarily. His face looked warmer, as if there was a feeling of comfort that immediately appeared as soon as Jimin was nearby. The smile is not for the camera. Not for fans. But it looks like a natural reaction. Spontaneous. Honestly, many onlookers were secretly thinking the same thing. Not because of sweet words. Not because of any confession. But because body language is hard to fake. Jungkook's way became calmer. Slower. I was there when Jim was nearby. In the midst of the crowded atmosphere, it was as if there was a small space that only the two of them had. The energy feels different. Softer. More synchronous, and interestingly, the difference is even more noticeable when compared to the dynamics of other members. While others joked with loud voices and big expressions, Jungkook actually looked calmer. More silence. But it's full of meaning. They don't seem to be trying to show closeness. But precisely because of that, their closeness feels very natural. Jungkook, who is usually spontaneous and full of energy, seems to slow down his rhythm when he is with Jimin. As for Jimin, with his warm attitude, it always seems to be Jungkook's place to return. Then came that little moment in a relaxed atmosphere. Jimin called Jungkook. Not with a scream. Not in a joking tone. Just one simple word. Say it slowly. With a noticeably different tone, come here. Before Jungkook really responded, Jin, who was joking, pushed him towards the sofa. Jungkook lost his balance and fell forward. Everything happened very quickly. Laughter broke out immediately. The atmosphere remains light. Nothing seemed strange. However, one reaction looks completely different. Jimin. When Jungkook fell, Jimin immediately stopped laughing. His eyes were on Jungkook. Focus. Alert. Are you okay? Is your neck safe? The question came out quickly. Almost simultaneously with his body directly leaning forward. Without a doubt. Without pause, his hands are ready to move. Ready to support. Ready to help, not because of the camera. Not because I want to seem concerned. Because it's a reflex. Jimin then asks Jungkook to sit next to him. Their distance became closer. Close enough to see his face clearly, hands up. He touched Jungkook's neck very carefully. Slow down. Soft. Like making sure everything's okay, not dramatic. Not made up. But it's full of meaning, and that's where a lot of people end up understanding why the dynamics of Jungkook always feel different. They don't need a big scene. No need for confession. Just one reflex reaction is enough. One soft touch. One question that came out without a second thought: throughout the broadcast, this pattern was constantly visible. Jungkook often smiled as he looked at Jimin. And Jimin, almost always looking for Jungkook when he smiles, without words. Without effort, the evening broadcast ended without a big cover. No fireworks. But precisely because of that, it feels so real. Behind the laughter and jokes, there is quiet attention. There is a concern that is not contrived. There are connections that do not need to be announced, because the most sincere feelings do not always come out loud. Sometimes it comes in its simplest form. In small attentions. In reflex reactions. In the choice to stay close, and perhaps, therein lies the true beauty of Jungkook. And before we completely close the story of the evening, there is one more small layer that often goes unnoticed, but rather deepens the meaning of the moment. After Jungkook sat down next to Jimin, the atmosphere was indeed boisterous again. Laughter is heard again. The conversation continues. Another member again threw a joke. From the outside, everything looks like nothing happened, but on closer inspection, there are minor changes in the way Jungkook moves that he did not immediately return to his old rhythm. It moves a little slower. The posture is more careful. And every now and then, he glanced at Jimin, as if to confirm that everything was really fine. Meanwhile, Jimin also did not immediately return completely to the big conversation. It is still within close range. His shoulders are slightly towards Jungkook. His attention was divided. As if part of him remained on guard that it's not an announced thing. No one pointed it out. No one commented on it, but for viewers who pay attention to small details, these changes are felt very clearly. This is what makes their dynamics always feel different, not because they want to look different, but because their attention to each other manifested itself. Without scenarios. Without a plan. With no intention of watching, and precisely because of that, everything feels real. In a lot of BTS content, we often see interactions full of laughter, shouting, and great energy. It's always fun. It's always entertaining. But moments like this present another layer. Quieter coding. More mature. Deeper. It is as if we are not watching an idol in front of the camera, but two people who already understand each other without the need for many words. There's a sense of security there. There are habits. There is comfort, and these kinds of feelings can't be created overnight. It grows from a long time. Of togetherness. From shared experiences. From slowly formed trust. That's why one reflex reaction can feel so big, because it doesn't come from the mind. It comes from the habit of the heart, and perhaps, this is what makes many people feel that Jungkook's connection has always had a special place among BTS's other dynamics, not because it's harder. Not because it's more flashy. Because it's quieter. And that's exactly where it feels most honest. In the midst of a fast-paced, big-paced, and crowded entertainment world, moments like this feel like a small respite. Like a slow breath. Like a reminder that the strongest relationships often don't need to be on display. It is quite present, that it's quite there, and it is quite palpable. And when the broadcast was finally completely over, many viewers probably did not immediately realize what they had just witnessed. No dramatic clips. No flashy viral pieces. But the warm feeling was left behind, like something difficult to explain, but easy to feel, and perhaps, that is the reason why that little moment continues to be talked about. Keep it in mind. Constantly feels, because in it, there is honesty. There is concern. And there are forms of attention that cannot be contrived, something simple, but very meaningful.